Hi, welcome to Trinity Tuesday and the Trinity of I video series. My name is Cherie Hudson. I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for watching the video series, making comments, and providing me feedback. I'm really grateful for the information and so honored to share what I've learned throughout the years with you. In my tenure, I've worked with corporate America, I've been involved in nonprofit, faith-based organizations, and as I did coaching or developed programs, what I noticed over and over again is that there is a alignment with mind, body, and spirit in regards to leadership. And the three I's that kept coming up were inspiration, integrity, and influence. And so the video series has been focusing on those qualities and some of the behaviors that actually underpin those qualities. I am so honored to share this information with you as I've been studying and researching and looking for things that can really work and develop others and really put together some very meaty information so that they can use in a very timely manner that is not long, very short snippets in regards to the video series. So let's jump into this. I've actually made a PowerPoint slide deck for us today. And to take a look at each one of these qualities, as well as taking a look at these behaviors. So my background is in leadership, as I've mentioned. It's also really steeped in self-development, personal growth, and a spiritual path too as well. And that's why I talk about this level of alignment in regards to mind, body, and spirit. And it's very powerful to come from this place of alignment. And when we take a look at what our journey has been together so far on the video series, I wanted to just share with you where we've been and where we're going. So sort of take a benchmark or time out, what we've done so far, what we're going to be looking at going forward. And so the first I of Trinity of I deals with inspiration. We talked about that. In spirit is about breathing. It is you taking your first breath when you came onto this earth. That's what inspire means. If you look in any of the dictionary, inspire is to breathe in. So what are the behaviors that actually fall under inspiration? Well, in the studies that I've done over and over again, it was what does a person or who are they when they walk through adversity and failure? Because it is who we are that really gets exemplified during those hard moments, those dark moments. And so taking a look at that, do they gather what they've learned through the adversity and failure and actually transmute it into a blessing and a lesson that they can incorporate going forward? That is absolutely profound. An inspirational leader also looks at focusing on the possibilities. They're not limiting themselves. They're looking at what can they do more, better, different, less. They involve people. They're always in a space of expansiveness, which comes from a place of abundance versus scarcity. The other thing that they look at in regards to inspiration is people can feel them. They know who they are by the sense of their aura, their energy, their persona, and they can feel this and they resonate with that leader, and that's why the followers gravitate. The next thing that we take a look at is integrity. And when we talk about integrity, the first behavior that actually comes up is thoughts, words, and actions. So very, very crucial where our thoughts and words and actions, when they are truly aligned, then that is what people pick up. That is you are walking the talk. You are putting everything into action that you're saying. And so that is so incredible because when people feel that level of integrity, again, they resonate with that leader. A leader that has integrity also looks at other people's viewpoints. They're not in fear of, oh no, you shouldn't learn from that person, or no, no, we're not going to do that. And I'm not open to doing it because it has to be me, because I want to get all the kudos, or whatever is going on for that leader. So integrity is about opening up and being expansive in regards to listening to others, and not that it's dictating, but how can we involve people? How can they contribute to what the mission, vision, and value are of the organization? What are their 2 cents, and are they being listened to? So that's really important, and not being associated with any fear. Then the other thing that we look at in regards to integrity has to do with vulnerability. So when a person is vulnerable, they are not, they're so open, they're expressing themselves in a way that is authentic. So vulnerability is letting people know where you're at and what's going on for you. There's so many times that we feel like leaders have a facade, like, oh, I'm supposed to know everything, or, this whole Superman, Superwoman ideal of a leader really no longer exists. It's not in this day and age. It's not able to, because of the level of collaboration, the level of openness through many different venues, whether it's technology or in the office, or creating interdisciplinary projects in the workforce. So integrity and being vulnerable and being open and just being exposed and saying, this is where things are at, it's causing certainty in uncertain times, and not coming from a place of a facade. So now we're going to get into influence. Now, in our last Trinity Tuesday, we talked about outward focus. So that was actually the first behavior that underpins influence. So we're going to get into our influence topic. And as I mentioned, our first one was outward focus. And really, influence, when we talk about influence, it's looking at how are we considering where people are. What is true is each and every one of our employees, our family, our friends, they are going through something. They have fears, they have sadness, they've had tragedies, they've had things that have happened to them. And so how can we look at them in a way that it's like, wow, you have gone through much, I have gone through much, and you're a thriver and a survivor. And just considering where people have come from and their journeys, and not a number, not like this is the task, I'm going to run you over, you're either with me or not with me, or get out of my way. So really looking at the outward focus of what's going on for other individuals that are around us, because sometimes they could be going through tough times. Then the second behavior we're going to take a look at, as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about this one today, is emotional intelligence. I love this particular behavior. I've learned so much about emotional intelligence, and I hopefully will be able to tell you a story about it. I think I will. I kind of have a little vulnerability and exposure right here. And so emotional intelligence is about, is this person approachable? Is this person able to, reach people? And when things are going crazy, they are in a level of being grounded and yet sensitive to others too as well. So a level of empathy and compassion actually emanates from this influential leader. We'll talk more about it in just a second. So the third behavior that underpins influence is continuous learning. It's pretty self-explanatory. However, we're going to get into some really great ideas about continuous learning. And also, for me, continuous learning deals with self-discipline too as well. All right, so let's jump into emotional intelligence. So I'm going to combine these two because it totally makes sense, and it is about self and social awareness. So self-awareness deals with what is going on for me? There's something that is happening. I'm getting angry, I'm getting sad, I'm starting to cry. What is going on for me at the moment? And actually identifying what is going on internally for yourself. And the result of having this level of self-awareness is being able to make better choices, being able to actually identify it, articulate it, and know that, hey, this is what's going on for me. I want to make this choice because this is where I think would be the most benefit, would be of our highest and greatest good. Well, social awareness, that looks at identifying what others are going through and identifying it in a way through a question. So, for example, you have somebody that's socially aware. When they ask someone, hey, how are you doing today? And the person crosses their arms and they say, I'm fine. And they will look at that and know in their heart of hearts that the person is not fine. There is something going on. However, most people will just walk away because they don't want to deal with it or whatever is going on, or maybe it's hurtful or they're too busy. I mean, I cannot judge. So, people walk away and says, oh, okay, well, I'm fine too. I'll talk to you later. However, someone who's adept in social awareness would actually question and say, well, geez, although you're saying you're fine, what's happening with your body language is not aligned. Is there anything that I can help you with or anything that's going on? And at least opening it up for conversation, or maybe even asking, well, it doesn't sound fine. Do I have that right? Just so that when you ask the question, you can give the opportunity for the other person either to share with you what's going on with them, or having that opportunity to maybe discuss it a little bit more. Because if it's not correct, and that's not what they're going through, they're just fine, it's like, okay, great, it's an opportunity to practice my social awareness. It's so interesting. As humans, we don't want to practice anything. We want to just do it, and it's that whole, I love Nike, just do it, it's great, but it can be inappropriate in certain situations, especially understanding how to develop social awareness. Sometimes you might have to practice that. You might go around, and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Do I have that right? This is what I'm sensing about what's going on here. Do I have that right? It's a great question. That way it can identify for you if you're on that right track, or do you need to course correct? And then take a look at it, because body language is so, so vital. And those that are socially aware, they take a look at what the body language is saying, because I would say about 92% of our communication comes through our body language as well as our tone of voice. Actually, it's 93, because 7% is words. So they know how to use this particular behavior. Now, self-management, when we take a look at self-management, it is not only identifying what's going on, it will actually move into admitting what's going on for me, and then giving myself a timeout or a break or an opportunity to breathe, to settle the emotions down. Here's what's true. We're going to have emotions. We all have an adrenal gland. We all secrete adrenaline when emotions come up. And it's in those times that when the flight or fight chemical starts to permeate throughout our body, what are we going to do? We can react or we can respond. If we respond, then we're taking a look at actually taking a breath, walking away. This might not be the best time for us to have this conversation. Can we come back within the next 24 hours to clear it up? Whatever needs to be done so that it can work to everybody's benefit. Now, the last one is relationship management. For those that are really adept in relationship management, they're looking for the win-win. What do you need? What do I need? Us winning together is very important. How do we make that happen? it builds trust. It builds an opportunity to have deeper connection with another person, having those conversations, getting to that level and opening it up so that you can create this powerful relationship, whether it's personal or professional. So let me tell you a little story. I guess I'm going to go ahead and expose myself and have some little vulnerability here. So years back, I actually was going to a conference and I was looking for a Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I love my chai latte, extra hot, heated to 180, no foam. And, it's just, that was my drink. I called it my cup of joy, right? And so I went into the Starbucks before the conference and I was standing there and a woman came right behind of me, but she was really close to me, like very close. And I stepped away. It's like, well, that's not what we do in our society here. So I moved a little farther away. And then I went to go ahead and pay for my Starbucks, my cup of joy that I was so happy to get. And what had happened was, sorry, this thing, so let me go ahead and back it up here. So what had happened was she got closer. So here she is, like practically on top of me. So I threw the guy the change and he must be wondering like, what the heck is wrong with this woman? I stomped off to the barista and guess what? That lady came right next to me at the barista stand. I was so upset. My cup of joy was like disappearing right in front of my eyes. And so they called my name and the lady was just close and close and close. And I just wanted her to get away from me. I turned around and I said, back off. Yeah. So, and I walked out and she must be wondering what the heck was going on. I went to my conference and lo and behold, the topic was on emotional intelligence. So really aligned, but here's what I learned. The next time that happened, because it actually did a week later, and I was at my home Starbucks having my cup of joy, and this lady did the same thing. And instead of getting reactive, I took a breath. I said, look, this happened before. What could I do differently? So I turned to her and I said, by any chance, are you from another country? And in her German accent, she said, yes. And she said, oh my God, thank you so much for talking to me because no one in Los Angeles has talked to me at all. And I said, well, I wanted to say, well, because you're too close. No, I didn't. I said, well, sometimes that just happens. And so, we do have things, in different countries, customs and understandings. So, I just wanted to ask that question, where you're from and how long are you here? And so we had a pretty good conversation. So the result was much better and it was a better choice. And she was so happy that someone talked to her. And I was really enjoying my cup of joy. All right, we'll get to the next slide. You're already seeing Indra Nui. So I want to talk a little bit about this woman because I feel she exemplifies tremendous influence in regards to emotional intelligence. I want to read some of her very powerful accolades, and I just feel like it deserves the recognition here. So here's a woman that was ranked among the world's 100 most powerful women. She is number 13 in Forbes' list of world's 100 most powerful women, ranked second most powerful women on the Fortune list in 2015. In 2018, Nui was named one of the best CEOs in the world by the CEO World. Forbes magazine ranked Nui on the 2008 through the 2017 list of the world's 100 most powerful women. And Fortune also ranked her from 2006 till 2010 as being the most powerful women in business. So also US News accolades her, as well as the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. And so she is the CEO of Pepsi. And her takeaway has always been about listening to your employees, treating them like human beings, treating them, knowing as much as you can, learn about them, and really have that very deep connection. Well, she went back to India, and when she did, they had a gathering. And in that gathering, she sat there with her mother, but the family and friends acknowledged the mother and praised the mother for bringing up such a wonderful daughter. And they hardly talked to Indra. The focus was on the mother. So when she came back to the States, she actually wrote letters to her executives' parents and said how great that they've raised a wonderful child and all the things that they've done, and just really made some tremendous acknowledgments with her executive team's parents, which made such a tremendous difference to her executive team. I just love, that's just one of her stories that I wanted to share with you. Absolutely powerful. So, she values people. And I just thought, as a matter of fact, the executive said that, that letter was so incredible. And the parents just really, really took it on. So I wanted to share that with you. If you have a chance, check her out. So influence, outward focus. So that was in our last Trinity of I. And then today we had an opportunity to talk about emotional intelligence. And then in our next Trinity of I, we're going to take a look at continuous learning and really delve into that. And also I'm going to combine that with a level of self-discipline too as well, because learning is so powerful. Learning about ourselves, learning about others, and just taking that in. I always feel that the teacher teaches to the student, and yet the student teaches to the teacher. So with that, I hope you enjoyed today's session about emotional intelligence, and look us up at trinityofi.com. And you can call us, you can leave us feedback, comments on the videos. We are having a class that is going to be upcoming called the F Words, Freedom Through Forgiveness. And I would encourage you to get on our website and to check it out. With that, have an amazing Trinity Tuesday, and we'll catch you up on the next time.